Today's topic on what the heck is happening in HR is pay transparency. Let's talk about it.
For our podcast disclaimer, please visit the episode description.
Thanks for coming back to what the heck is happening in HR. Today we're talking about pay transparency, and the numbers are out. They have to be out in many places. So more than 12 states plus Washington, D.C. have passed pay transparency laws, and there's 8 others in Puerto Rico having legislation either passed recently or almost passing, and we've got cities and counties that have it. So what is it? What's it mean? What's it required? What's this law? What is this mandate? What it says is that companies must disclose salary ranges to candidates. That's it. You've got to say, this is what you're going to pay for the job. Seems like that would be pretty reasonable, but people haven't been doing it. Organizations haven't been doing it. In fact, I know of a situation where one director said, well, I always make my budget because women never negotiate, so they always accept what I offer them to begin with. Oh my, that was a long conversation, which I'm sure you can figure. So what it exposes are internal pay gaps because people start talking. And by the way, they can talk. That's a protected concerted activity. And if you don't know what that is, don't worry, there'll be a podcast coming in it, and there is an old one on it. It will also help with market positioning, because as you see the pays out there, you're going to realize maybe I'm not so competitive. And then compression issues. That's when we've brought in new hires earning more than employees who are training them. And we have a lot of that happening, especially in the Florida area or those places where we have minimum wage going up quite a bit, because people have worked a year or two and now they've finally reached that rate where suddenly now the brand new hire comes in at that rate, and yet you're not getting anything. So what's happening here? And people aren't happy about it. So there are uncomfortable conversations about why people are doing the same work, earning different amounts. You need to be ready for that. Employees are using transparency data to negotiate with you or job hop. Just leave. The competitive pressures are there because everybody can see what the competitors are paying. Now, that's pure pay. We know there is so much more in the total rewards world. And here's a shameless plug. Take the total rewards class coming up. Anyways, back to the subject at hand, because we do know culture, PTO, work-life balance, work from home, healthcare contributions, a lifestyle, all of that is important. It isn't just the pay, but the pay is important. Pay equity and pay transparency are hot topics globally. So if you have employees globally, you need to be able to show why and if those pay gaps persist or exist for some reason. You've got to use pay data and benchmarking. It will help you monitor pay equity issues and market competitiveness, but your communication with your employees are going to be key. You need to be able to talk about the issues in order to improve relationships with them and build trust. If you don't have trust around pay, the employees aren't going to believe you about anything else. Most companies aren't prepared for pay transparency. You need to look at some pay audits. Don't create a panic around it. Don't create expectations around it, but do look at it and be able to say, let's take this job title. Let's look at it from high to low. Let's look at for how many years they've been in the job. Let's look at it from all of the EEO categories. And you're like, oh, wait a minute, I thought DEI was out. I didn't say give anyone money just to give them money. I said, let's look at it. I know of one situation where we looked at it and we realized that we had one pocket of minority women who were making less but had been in the job much longer and had great performance. Well, we brought them over from an acquisition. And when in that acquisition, the company, when they've been acquired, they had not looked at it, melded in with everybody else. And so what happened is when it did get melded in, then it looked very conspicuous. It looked very harsh because it's like, wait a minute, why are we paying them less? Well, had we not looked at the reports, we would never have seen that until perhaps something bad with a charge or um, a complaint or a lawsuit, or just every day we weren't treating these employees properly. We certainly corrected it and moved on from there. But you've got to do some pay audits. But at the same time, you need to do those in some confidentiality, because sometimes people think, oh, pay audits, they're going to realize we need to have more money. You need to be able to also tell employees why they might not be getting increases, why they might be at the bottom of the pay range, and have them understand what it is. Now, you're going to have employees who say to you, well, what do I have to do to get an increase? You need to be able to understand, how are you going to address that? What are you going to say? What do they have to do? Can they do anything? And then if you do find a major problem in your pay audits, then that's where you need to get an HR professional and your employment attorney and be able to work out how to do that properly, because you don't want to mess it up. You've got yourself into this jam. You want to fix it, and you want to fix it properly, and you want to have it buttoned up for good. See, pay transparency means you're going to put it in the ads. People are going to know what you're going to pay for it. You want to be able to put more than that, though, if you're trying to hire people who are around your mission. Let's go down this rabbit hole for a minute. See, I have folks who will put the pay or benefits really high in their employment ads. And then they're like, Kelley, they just come to us, and then as soon as they get a better offer, they leave. And I said, well, of course, because you advertised and you led with your pay and your benefits package. You didn't lead with the mission. You didn't lead with the why. You didn't lead with how they can be valued. You didn't lead with the pain point that they're suffering. You didn't lead with the important items for them. See, everybody comes to work individually. That's what always amazes me, that when we talk about organizational development or organizational pay, I don't get everybody's paycheck. You only get one, and you go home to that one, or with that one paycheck. And so we're paying them individually. We need to motivate them individually. We need to communicate with them individually. We need to help them understand what would engage them better. And we need to be able to have them feel valued. So all of that is important. Pay transparency is a big deal, but it's a bigger deal when your employees don't trust you. It's a bigger deal when your employees wonder what you're hiding. And it's a bigger deal when you have a big deal with just sharing how much you're paying. Why not? Because why wouldn't you share what your culture's about, how you build a community, and the things that really separate you? Because if you're just putting in your ad competitive pay and benefits, well, you're going to have to put a little bit more in there now if you really want to get candidates. Or if you're just trying to hire by somebody who breathes on a mirror and fogs it up, that's what you'll get. Instead, I suggest you do it properly and really be able to have a good relationship with your current employees. Turn loose that employee referral program, because your employees get it more than anybody else. And then be sure that you've established your employer brand. Don't sideline that. Don't short it out by just saying, well, we only have so many words we can put in. Don't do that. Don't do that, because you're better than that. Your employees deserve more than that. Pay transparency can open up a lot of potholes that are in your organization. but you can do a good job of fixing them before anyone even drives down that road. And what you can do is just do that pay audit, be prepared to communicate, and go in it with a good mindset. And when you have that mindset and you're working on it and laying out that project in your calendar, lay out every Monday, because that's when we post new episodes here on What the Heck is Happening in HR. We look forward to having you back next Monday.